Mr. Speaker, side opposition today has three main contentions with opposition today. Firstly, the first main contention is whether the separation is needed. Second is whether the separation will cause a reduction of reason to fight, and whether the separation, the benefits that come along with the separation itself is justified, Mr. Speaker. Now, I'll be dealing on the first main point of contention, whether the separation is needed. Firstly, they came out and say that the people in Iraq are hostile, as three different groups, the Kurds and etc., are hostile to each other and they are fighting over territory. More, we see that, Mr. Speaker, in this kind of areas here, it's only small insurgent groups that are actually fighting for this cause. Moreover, we see that the separation will bring around about more fighting in the country because in Iraq, basically, you don't have anything other than oil. And you see that if the separation itself, you split the country, the oil reserves, more towards the Kurdish side and the rest. And we see, even though they say that even the pipelines still can come up and everything, Mr. Speaker, they say there's still certain control over the pipelines, etc. We see that it will bring about more fighting, Mr. Speaker, because in the past, in the history of Iraq, these three groups have really had a very bitter and very nasty history with each other. We see that they might even resort to more violence to just gain control of this kind of pipelines to actually export the oil out, Mr. Speaker. And we see that that is very detrimental. Moreover, they say that there will be a lesser violence as there is a leader taking charge of one state, Mr. Speaker. We see that status quo already actually takes care of this kind of things because it's only these small insurgent groups that actually want to actually fight for the state itself, Mr. Speaker. And we say that we let the status quo, maybe America take care of them, where America has well equipped itself to actually handle this kind of insurgent groups, Mr. Speaker. And we say that this kind of splitting will even exacerbate the situation in Iraq. Because firstly, if by splitting itself, if the remaining two states other than the Kurdish states does not have resources, does not have the money because Iraq is very poor, we see that there will be unemployment rate, there will be social issues arising, and this might even cause more violence in the state itself, Mr. Speaker. Now moving on to my second issue, in which whether the separation will cause a reduction in the reason to fight. They say that it will cause a clear barrier to the border, thus eliminating a reason to fight because now there is a very unclear barrier itself, Mr. Speaker. We see that it will cause a creation of national identity, and this is not what we want to promote because they are somehow like proposing ghettoism, Mr. Speaker. They are eliminating the chance of the races actually sitting down to trash out, to clear any misunderstanding. And this is what we believe, this is very detrimental. We do not want to exacerbate these kind of situations, Mr. Speaker. Moreover, thank you. Moreover, they say that the three-state solution would stop violence. We say that we don't believe so. Whenever like another state actually tries to attack one state, we say that the neighboring countries that actually support this kind of people will actually come in and interfere. We believe that is very detrimental because it will risk more violence between the countries itself and will cause more people to die. No, thank you. And also they say that they would have a certain control over the pipelines, etc., etc. We see that the people have been very hostile to each other for the past many decades, Mr. Speaker. And we see that we don't see why the reason if you propose a three-state solution, it will cause this hostility between them to actually dissolve overnight, Mr. Speaker. We see that they might even resort to actually use hostile means to actually just control this kind of pipeline to ensure that the sales of the oil is there, Mr. Speaker. Moreover, we see that the trust of these people is still very questionable as people are over there are still very hostile. They will be more paranoid than to trust each other, Mr. Speaker. No, thank you from you. Okay, on to the third thing, whether the benefit of a three-state solution is justified. Firstly, they said that once separation comes in, the flow of hatred will just naturally stop, Mr. Speaker. We see that it won't stop, it will further exacerbate the hatred, Mr. Speaker, because the I said just now, by actually introducing a three-state policy, we see that you are actually encouraging national identities to actually come out from the ground. Yes, Charlene.
We think that even if there's a national identity coming about, we don't think there's any issue with it because we think that everyone has national identity when they have their own state.
We believe that is not a very good thing to do because firstly, you are going to deepen the hatred between all these people. They do not have the chance to actually trash out all the things that they trash. Shut up! They do not have the chance to actually trash out all these things under the rule of under all these kind of situations, under the suppressed dictatorship of Iraq itself, Mr. Speaker. Moreover, we don't see why we must be deny them the chance of integration when we see that your policy will only cause further misunderstanding. For example, ladies and gentlemen, we see in Vietnam in the past, in history, we see that they are fighting. They are fighting. They are having conflict between North and South. But ladies and gentlemen, we see that the policy of integration has worked for them. Vietnam is actually very peaceful now, and we don't see why must we actually ghettoize the whole country there, because it will bring about more detriments than benefits, Mr. Speaker. Down. Thank you. Moreover, they came up and say about how it will make the Middle East more peaceful, Mr. Speaker. You say that, as what our first speaker actually mentioned, the reverse of this whole thing would happen, Mr. Speaker. Firstly, the instability would among the country will increase because they do not have the chance to actually learn to trust each other, Mr. Speaker. Because firstly, they have a very deep root of history itself, Mr. Speaker. And we believe that they must be given the correct avenue to actually trash out all this kind of misunderstandings. Down! Trash out all this kind of understanding to actually clear up this, to actually live better, Mr. Speaker. Moreover, it will cause an increase in ethnic violence itself, Mr. Speaker, because whenever the certain countries feel that they are being bullied, their neighboring countries will actually come in and intervene, and which would cause biasness towards itself. It would also cause a straining in diplomatic ties between certain countries. For example, Turkey intervening to actually help the Kurds when US doesn't want Turkey to intervene at all. This will actually cause a strain in diplomatic ties between the US and Turkey itself, because it's clear that US doesn't want to resort to violence. However, Turkey still wants to go in to actually help their own people. This is where we see that the diplomatic ties being strained is not a very good thing to do, Mr. Speaker itself. So therefore, Mr. Speaker, we are proud to oppose. Thank you.